Good morning. Today, I want to address something that's been coming up a lot in my comments. I have had quite a few people suggesting that I'm homeless, and some dudes even telling me to find a man with money. They are probably the same men who complain that all women are gold diggers. But what really caught my attention is that some people seem to use homeless as an insult, and I just don't understand why should I feel insulted by that. While I don't consider myself homeless, and I will explain why later, I wouldn't care if anyone saw me that way. I don't see homelessness as something degrading. If I don't refer to myself as homeless, it's not because I think I'm better than people experiencing homelessness. And I think this is especially important right now, when we are living through a housing crisis that's raging all over the world. We need to stop thinking that only lazy people, addicts and alcoholics end up on the streets. We are now living at a time when it can happen to anybody. Have you ever taken the time to talk to someone experiencing homelessness? Have you heard their story? I think we have all heard that one story where someone offered a homeless person a roof over their head and a job, only to find them back on the street a week later because they didn't like working. And we take that single story as proof that all homeless people don't want to work, because it makes us feel better about ourselves. It gives us permission not to help. They don't want to work anyway. But the truth is, we don't know what led to them losing everything. It could be mental health issues, physical health problems, family tragedy, childhood abuse, PTSD from war or crime, addiction as a coping mechanism for trauma, or simply a series of unfortunate events that spiraled out of control. I believe that everyone does the best they can with what they have. And if we were truly in their shoes, with all their background, circumstances, trauma, and limitations, we would probably end up in the same exact place. Not everyone has access to education, a healthy body and mind, family support, or the countless invisible advantages that many of us take for granted.
So, why don't I refer to myself as homeless? Simply put, it's because I don't need and want help. Can you imagine how uncomfortable it would make people if I was like, "Hi, I'm Jana and I'm homeless"? I mean, even without that label, people offer me food or a place to crash on their couch or spare bed. And while it's incredibly kind and I do not want to look ungrateful, I really appreciate it. I don't need food. I have money, I have food, I have shelter. And quite frankly, why would I want to have a sleepless night on someone's couch when I can sleep on my bed? That's perfectly fine and I'm used to it. I bet that a lot of the time I have more money in my savings account than the people offering me help. It's often the case that people who do not have much themselves are the most generous people. I would feel incredibly guilty taking charity from people who work hard all year round while I'm out here swimming with dolphins and living my dream. If you want to do something nice for a vanlifer, offer a parking spot in your driveway for a night or two. That's something I will always gladly accept. It doesn't cost you anything. I do not feel like a huge inconvenience to you. That and sometimes a hot shower. But I do worry that when I explain to people that I do not help, maybe the next person who would truly appreciate it will not get that offer because of me declining it. And that's why I think we need to make a clear distinction between a homeless person and a person I would call house-free. The other day I was in Perth doing my laundry and it just so happened around the corner there was a food bank. I didn't know that, but people were parking near my car walking to the food bank, and when they noticed that I probably live in my van, they started urging me to go and get some free food. And I was like, "No, thank you, I don't need food, I'm fine." And they were like, but but it's free. And I'm like, yeah, I know it's free, and you probably have a good reason for getting it. One of them was single mother of 2, so of course free food is a huge help to her and her family. But why should I, who has money, be taking free food from people who cannot even buy groceries? Besides, can you imagine me at a food bank? I have never been, but I think that sometimes they offer you a pre-made food package, and I would be like, oh, but I don't eat meat, and I don't want eggs, and I don't want dairy. And I think the volunteers, they would just think I don't tick right in my head. They would be like, well, it's free, take it or leave it. I could never be as poor as to rely on charity food, because what I say now will sound very extreme to most of you, but I would rather die than to eat animals again. And this brings us to an interesting question. What does the law actually say about homelessness? Surprisingly, countries count their homeless population very differently. In New Zealand, they count anyone who doesn't have a fixed dwelling as homeless. People living on boats, homeless. People living in vans, homeless. Do they have money? Doesn't matter, still counted as homeless. That's why New Zealand's homeless statistics are much higher than Australia's. Under the Australian Bureau of Statistics definition, you are only counted as homeless if you lack suitable accommodation alternatives. So if someone is living in a van but has the financial means to secure regular rental housing or other adequate accommodation and chooses not to, they wouldn't be counted as homeless in official statistics.
Homeless, not homeless, homeless, not homeless.
This distinction matters for more than just statistics. When we conflate chosen alternative lifestyles with genuine housing insecurity, we muddy the waters around a serious social issue. Real homelessness is about lack of choice, lack of resources, and often lack of support systems. It's about people who would choose stable housing if they could access it. My situation is about having choices and deliberately selecting an unconventional one. The housing crisis is real and affecting more people than ever before. Young adults can't afford to move out of their parents' home. Families are spending 50 to 60% of their income on rent, and people with full-time jobs are living in their cars because they can't find affordable housing. These are the people we need to be concerned about and supporting. Some comments said that law-abiding citizens are sick of people like me leaving trash and feces everywhere. And it's a bit ironic that they left these comments under a video where I literally talk about the importance of being respectful and leaving no trace. I have never left waste anywhere, and if anything, I am the one picking up trash that others have left behind. And I'm sorry to say, I actually think most of it comes from fellow housed citizens, not from van dwellers. I think there is actually a logical explanation for why some people may not follow the rule of not leaving a trace. When you are house-free by choice, you still have a lot to lose. You have possessions, you have savings, you have future you are protecting. You do not want to be getting fines and going to courts. And I personally have even more to lose, I find, because I'm not Australian citizen yet, and I certainly do not want to be deported back to New Zealand. I mean, as much I love Kaikoura, I like to be warm. So even if I wasn't a human being with a strong moral compass, these things would probably stop me from leaving rubbish everywhere. Now think about someone who has genuinely lost everything, their home, their job, their support system, maybe even their hope. When you have nothing left to lose, when you are struggling with mental health issues, addiction, when society has basically written you off, maybe the motivation to follow certain social norms is not there anymore. I'm not saying it's right. It affects everyone and it makes life harder for all of us who live unconventionally. But I think understanding the psychology behind it helps us address the problem instead of just getting angry at the symptoms. The solution is not to ban all alternative living, It's to provide better support system so fewer people reach that point of having nothing left to lose. Clearly, if you ask me, I think Australia has this definition right, and countries that classify all unconventional living situations as homelessness are missing the mark. The difference between homeless and house-free isn't just semantic. It's about choice, resources, and need. One requires our compassion and systemic solutions. The other is simply a lifestyle choice that deserves respect, but not charity. What do you think? Have you ever considered the difference between these two situations? Let me know in the comments below. And if this video gave you a new perspective, don't forget to like and subscribe for more thoughts on unconventional living. If you guys made it all the way here, you are probably my best fans and you deserve a little update. So I'm now driving to Cali to have a shower because I spent the weekend in that campground. There was only a dry toilet. It was disgusting. I actually used mine. People often ask me where do I shower, so let's have a look at one of these showers. And then I will be looking for a place to sleep tonight because tomorrow is Monday, going back to work. And that house I parked in the driveway for the last 3 months. I think it's being moved in. There were some strange cars on Saturday morning and they made a call. I didn't hear what they were calling about, but I assumed they were calling the lady for her to explain what that strange car does in the driveway. So I think I'm back to the wilderness now, and it's a bit strange for me now. But hey, I'm gonna be fine. Actually, driving the skip truck, I found many little spots where they're building new houses. They are not lived in yet. They have nice off-street parking, and I think if I park there, I will be gone before 6 because I go to work. I think nobody is gonna know I was there. So it's gonna be all good.
Good night.
Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.